Now, Finance Minister Mohamed Adam has opined that supporting small and medium enterprises is crucial to achieving growth and development ambitions of the country, stating that they are the lifeblood of the economy. He, however, conceded that the country's growth model should evolve beyond relying on foreign direct investment and raw materials, which sometimes exposes the country to external shock. Dr. Amin Adam made the statement in speech read on his behalf by his technical advisor, Dr. Abdul Ganiyu, at Sensitization Forum on Small and Medium Opportunity Program in WA.
The stakeholder sensitization on the Small and Medium Growth and Opportunity Program, SME Go, seeks to explore innovative solutions, share best practices, and foster partnership to address the challenges faced by SMEs. Finance Minister Dr. Amin Adam, in a speech read on his behalf by his technical advisor, Dr. Abdul Ganiyu, opined that the country's growth model should evolve beyond relying on foreign direct investments and raw materials who sometimes expose the country to external shocks. He, however, opted for the harnessing of homegrown SMEs to build a robust, dynamic, and competitive economy.
Our SMEs are the lifeblood of our economy, and it is our collective responsibility to ensure their success. The data is clear. Supporting SMEs is crucial to achieving our growth and development ambitions. We must be intentional about providing access to financial resources, expertise, and capacity building programs that empower them to drive innovation, create jobs, and stimulate economic growth. Ghana's growth model must evolve beyond relying heavily on foreign direct investments and raw material support, which can be volatile and expose us to external shocks. Instead, we must harness the potential of our own homegrown SMEs to build a prosperous, dynamic, and competitive economy.
Dr. Abdul Ganiyu noted that they have taken into consideration challenges of previous programs who the SME Go will address for it to succeed.
Whoever must access the funding, once the person qualifies, once the person meets the criteria, it should be so easy for such people to get the money. And it's not just about giving money, but it's even about the monitoring, the supervision, hand-holding some SMEs that needs technical support, so that when you have given them money, you are following through to ensure that the money is used for that purpose, and where they have some challenges, you are able to provide the support to overcome those challenges. That is the only way we can succeed in terms of financing and ensuring that SMEs are able to grow to the level that we desire in terms of their ability to create jobs and their ability to contribute to economic growth.
A coordinating director at the Ayawaso Regional Coordinating Council, Joseph Aburi, who represented Ayawaso Regional Minister Stephen Yakubu, spoke of the benefits that people will derive from the program.
Today's event is a critical step towards empowering our SMEs to drive economic growth, create jobs, and reduce poverty. Indeed, SMEs are the backbone of our economy, accounting for over 70% of GDP and contributing significantly to employment creation. However, I also acknowledge that they face serious challenges, including limited access to finance, technology, markets, among others. The SME Growth and Opportunity Program has therefore come in handy to bridge the gap between SMEs and financial institutions, development partners, and technology providers.
Reporting for J News, Rafik Salam. Wow.
Now, let's go back to our earlier story on the Galamsey menace to speak to Emmanuel Urenchi. He's the former operations director for Small Scale Miners Association of Ghana, who is just joining us via Zoom. Grateful for your time here. It looks like this is a lost battle. From where you sit, what do you think are the reasons that brought us to where we are currently?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to your viewers. I want to say that if anyone thought that the fight against illegal mining was going to be within a few years, then perhaps the person was deceiving him or herself. The fight against illegal mining is a national canker that has eaten into our social fabric for a very long time, and therefore needed a lot of time, a lot of concerted effort from all, so that we can focus on eradicating this. One of the key issues that I want to put across is the aesthetic view of our river bodies and how tepid they've become as a result of dredges in the various river systems across Ghana where gold is likely to be found. I would like to urge everybody so that we target this group of people who do not care for our well-being and would otherwise, because of small amount of money that they would get, they would dredge our river bodies for gold. You know, the law does not allow any Ghanaian to mine on any of our river bodies and our river systems and water systems across the country. And therefore, the moment you see somebody with a dredger in any of the river bodies and the water systems across the country, that person must be targeted, arrested, and prosecuted. That's the first point of call that I would want to call everybody to get involved. And then I would want to also make it very clear that when you look at our river systems and then the water systems across the country, you would see that almost every part of the river systems, they go through either a municipality or a district assembly or a region.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say is that all of these portions of the systems that go through all of these places I've mentioned, we have regional coordinating councils, we have municipal security committees, we have district security committees. You know, dredging on river bodies is totally illegal, and therefore the security apparatus must be up and doing.
But
target people in the river bodies and take them off.
Okay, apart from those you've talked about, there are some also who are doing this illegally. I mean, the small-scale miners who have the license to operate. What should happen to people like this?
All right. So I want to also put it across that the licensing of small-scale concessions is site-specific. What that means is that if, for instance, this table in front of me, if that is my license, I should work within that. The moment I go beyond that, I'm an illegal miner. So I'm trying to say this, that when you go to Minerals Commission and then EPA, you are likely to find all the license concessions across the country. And therefore, we can mark out these areas and say that these areas are mining concessions, and therefore, nobody should go beyond these areas. Now, what that will do to us is also, we will be able to identify the people who are operating outside these areas and then target them as illegal operatives. Then from there, maybe we can then come and look at the operations of some of the licensed ones as well.
Okay.
But those ones, the law provides for how they can be dealt with. And so those ones are easy targets for Minerals Commission and EPA to deal with them. The difficult part is those who are beyond these boundaries. They are the most difficult ones. And therefore, we can fall on the database of the site plans of all of these concessions that are licensed. So we can identify this area, these people, and then we can target those who are outside these areas.
It appears that this challenge and these suggestions have been given over the years and nothing seems to be coming out of it. What must we do as a country to change the course?
We must continue to talk and continue to tell people who are supposed to be responsible, including the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners, of which I'm part of it, and then including government and the security apparatus to be up and doing so that we target these people and take them off where they are not supposed to be. We
are grateful to you for speaking to us here on the Joy Newsroom. Now, away from the story, the U.S. ambassador to Ghana, Virginia Palmer, has handed over a 60-bed mobile field hospital to the Ghana Armed Forces. The field hospital, valued at over 78 million cedis, is fitted with an intensive care unit, 2 surgical operating rooms, X-ray laboratory, morgue, emergency room, and 2 generator sets. The field hospital can be transported and assembled in remote areas with a capacity to house up to 60 patients at a time.
A state-of-the-art, fully equipped medical facility can be rapidly deployed to scenes of disaster or remote areas who do not have access to routine health care. Speaking at the handing over ceremony, Ambassador Virginia Palmer said this year the U.S. government's support to the military will exceed $28 million.
And the mobile hospital is the latest example of what a strong U.S.-Ghana security partnership can deliver. And we'll see more of that over the coming weeks, Honorable Minister. This year, we will exceed $28 million, or over 438 million cedis, in security support to Ghana. We're focused on supporting Ghana as a leader in West Africa, working together on regional security, investing in people through our long-term development relationship, protecting democratic institutions, and advancing mutual prosperity.
The Minister for Defense, Dominic Nitowell, said he was confident the military will efficiently manage the facility, which is meant to deal with emergencies.
I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that the Ghana Armed Forces will put the facility to beneficial use, not only to our fellow countrymen, but also to all personnel in uniform. And therefore, I acknowledge representatives, the regional police commander is here, the regional firefighter is here, the regional prisons officer is here, immigration officer is here. Let these facilities serve all this personnel and ensure that not just those in uniform, but their dependents and families will get to use this facility to enable them be able to perform to the best of their ability for Mother Ghana.
The Deputy Chief of Staff Medicals, Major General Raymond Ewusi, who represented the Chief of Defense Staffs of the Ghana Armed Forces, said the facility will help enhance medical service offered personnel of the forces.
This facility will undoubtedly enhance the Ghana Armed Forces medical services capabilities, ensuring our personnel receive the best care possible. This facility we are seeing would ensure that we perform several tasks, including triage, resuscitation, and stabilization of clients, life and limb-saving surgical interventions, general and regional anesthesia, advanced life support and intensive care, storage capacity for blood products in the blood bank, radiological procedures, and also will form a nucleus for the establishment of the proposed Tamale Military Hospital.
Now, the National Geographic Association is calling for the adoption of remote sensing technologies as part of efforts to mitigate the effect of climate change, especially on smallholder farms. The Ministry of Food and Agriculture has warned of a looming food shortage in the northern region following a dry spell which has impacted crop yield in the area. However, at its annual conference in Accra, researchers called for the incorporation of technology to navigate the crisis. There's more in the following report.
The 2024 annual conference of the National Geographic Association brought together a cross-section of stakeholders from academic and non-academic institutions to dialogue on advancing human, space, and technology for sustainable development. Key on the agenda is the need for the adoption of advanced technology to mitigate the impact of climate change.
Climate change is an issue that is of great concern to us, and we factor that even in our teaching program, both at the junior high schools and the senior high schools, as part of the effort to collaborate with various partner institutions to see how best that can be addressed nationally. In our area of geography, that is why we rely so much on GIS and remote sensing as part of the efforts to try to educate not only ourselves, but also human society in doing everything possible to bring about the knowledge sharing platforms, which can bring about the desired changes that are required.
Ghana's agricultural sector has been adversely impacted by climate change, resulting in a looming food crisis in northern Ghana. This situation, according to researchers at the United Nations University Institute for Africa, could be mitigated by the adoption of remote sensing technology.
It is really important, because when you talk about the Sustainable Development Goal 13, it talks about combating climate change. You know, for that one, it's solely dependent on how we can weaken the impact of climate change on our farmers. Farmers are important stakeholders when it comes to food security issues in the country and, you know, without. So it's important when we bring it on board, it helps them, it makes their work easier, because the climate is changing in so many ways and so fast that now even their predictions are not working for them. Not all of them work. Some of them are still working, others are not working. It's interesting when you talk to some of them and they tell you, oh, if you see the clouds gathered in the east, it means it's going to rain. And then 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, it was working for them. But now they see it gather and they are unsure. So if we bring on board technology and we make it easy for them to access, and then we also implement or integrate their knowledge into the technology use, I think it will make it easier for them. They will not feel like we are burdening them with something that is so difficult to understand.
The National Geographic Association remain hopeful that through continuous knowledge sharing, innovation will be advanced towards the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals.
Election Headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol Platinum Energy Energizing Dreams, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, CIMA, and the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental Wellness and Beauty, and Chobox Technologies, a convenience service, and Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging the gap for positive youth development. Now, the Electoral Commission has rejected the National Democratic Congress, the NDC's call for a forensic audit of the current voter register. That, according to Director of Elections of the NDC, Dr. Omani Bawumia, after an emergency meeting with the EC. The NDC has consistently raised concerns over irregularities in the voter roll, asking for an immediate audit. The party held a crucial meeting with the commission to iron things out. My colleague James Aveji was there and now reports.
The National Democratic Congress in the past few weeks have been raising serious concerns over some irregularities captured in the provisional voter register following the just ended voter exhibition exercise. They, on the back of that, demanded a meeting with the Electoral Commission to deliberate over these issues. The EC has this Friday granted them that audience, leading to a meeting between the two parties lasting for about 3 hours. After the meeting, Dr. Omani Bawumia, Director of Elections for the NDC, said, among other things, is the call for a forensic audit into the current voter roll, as what they put before the EC.
Voters in the 2023 register who have been deleted from the 2024 register. 1. 2. Voters transferred to different polling stations, okay, but the voters are not in the absent list.
How many persons are we talking about?
In terms of that is, so far, what we have identified, 2,094. The first I category is 3,957. There's a third I category. Previous transfers illegally added to 2024 transfers. And guess what? 243,540. The EC must agree if the EC has nothing to hide. And we don't want to believe they have anything to hide. The EC must agree for an independent body to audit this. It has happened before. And let me speak on authority and in locus classicus that the UNDP is ready and willing to provide the support only if the Electoral Commission will write to request for this support.
He said the Electoral Commission have rejected their call for forensic audit.
They have not accepted the independent forensic audit. Expectedly, It's not all doctors who readily refer. It's not all workers who readily, when issues are above them, refer. Some of them wait until bridges collapse. Some of them wait until patients are even at the verge of dying before they push them. We would have loved that the Electoral Commission accepted this. Unfortunately, the Electoral Commission did not. However, it doesn't take away the fact that a forensic audit is what it will take to assure Ghanaians.
Although it is unclear what the next line of action will be for the NDC, they are promising that they will keep pushing and keep involving other stakeholders in this discussion until the EC does all the corrections. From the EC headquarters here in Accra, my name is James Savage for Joy News.
Another presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Bawumia, has toured the streets of Ayawaso, West Wuogon, Adentan and Medina constituencies in the Greater Accra region. This is to enable him to connect with the people in line with his constituency-focused nationwide campaign tour. My colleague Kenneth Jesse was with the Vice President and he reports.
Bawumia began his tour by first visiting the Santana market at Tesano Down. Dr. Bawumia also made a whistle stop at the Ponglo traffic light where he interacted with the people. Engaging students at the Accra College of Education, he maintained that his administration, if given the nod, will continue to use digitalization as a tool for job creation and continue the free SHS policy.
When we came into office, we didn't have bank accounts for most Ghanaians. Only 30% of the adult population of Ghana had bank accounts. Many people had mobile money accounts, but the mobile money accounts were limited. If you had MTN, you couldn't send money to someone with Vodafone or Airtel Tigo, and you couldn't take money from a bank account and put in a Momo account. So I said, let us make the Momo account like a bank account through mobile money interoperability. When I said that, many people said it was not possible. No country in Africa had done so. Not even in the US had they done so. And I said, it is possible.
The Chief of Staff and a former Member of Parliament for Ayawaso West Wuogon, Frema Opare, appealed to the constituents to vote for both Dr. Bawumia and the MP for the area, Lydia Al-Hassan.
Constituency ni dana kuma so nia ehia obekọ akopre no ode aba enti sene abatos aba misramu obi a yenim na nopa no yanso kane anhwe nim enti munim no munim na dwuma a waye munim na hobrase munim odo a wowo ema constituency enti danu duru so amada worma misramu Monfa, Mobey, Lydia, Alasan, Ekoye MP.
The tour of the Ayawaso West, Medina and Adentan constituencies, which was climaxed at the Bawuleshi Park, made stops at Presby Church at Frafraha, Central Pentecost Church at Oyarifa and Medina Zongo.
Now, in business news, as part of measures to curb the unemployment menace in the country, the Ghana report has launched a 2024 Jobs and Entrepreneurship Fair to help young people acquire jobs. Speaking to Joy Business at the press lounge, Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana report, Rashida Sani, called for a more deliberate approach from both private and public sectors to address the challenge.
The Ghana Report Jobs and Entrepreneurship Fair is an event dedicated to bridging the gap between job seekers and employers in Ghana and fostering entrepreneurship and innovation for national growth. Speaking to Joy Business at the press launch, Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Report, Rashida Sani, said the fair aims to bring together employers, job seekers, entrepreneurs, and innovators to explore employment opportunities, showcase innovative projects, and drive economic growth in Ghana.
I would say that we have a universal target audience because the issue with unemployment is an issue for everyone, in as much as it poses a threat to national security as well. Because if people are not gainfully employed, they get into social vices that might not just augur well for society, and that might not promote growth for us as Ghanaians. So in effect, we're putting together job seekers and employers and telling them to speak to them directly. This critically is in a bid to avoid the usual protocol list approach and the who you know or who knows you syndrome that usually would come to play during job acquisitions.
She maintained that over 5,000 jobs will be up for grabs during the fair.
Most people are going to go back home with jobs. This is why we're sticking our heads out based on our past honesty and integrity in the arena of social responsibilities. So it's quite impractical to say that people will not go back home with jobs. This is a jobs fair. Maybe the question we should be asking is how many thousands of people are going to be getting jobs. And remember, this is not just an avenue for people to come get employed. Like I mentioned in my presentation, there are quite a number of people who are employers themselves, but just because their potential has not been harnessed, they do not understand. This is why we are throwing a call to people who have novel ideas, who have really viable and critical ideas that can be brought to bear, that will fetch them some income. Please come.
The Ghana Report Jobs and Entrepreneurship Fair will come off from the 19th of September to the 5th of October 2024 at the Independence Square and the Accra International Conference Center.
Welcome back. Now, in international news, the economic communities of West African states have partnered USAID under the strengthening regional peace and stability in West Africa to launch the ECOWAS Gender Observatory EOGO, a state-of-the-web-based platform designed to systematically track, evaluate, and report on gender-related indicators across ECOWAS member states. There's more in the following report.
The ECOWAS Gender Observatory platform will serve as an essential tool for gathering, analyzing, and disseminating real-time gender data, enabling decision-makers to develop and implement policies that promote gender equality and empower women and girls across the region. In her speech on behalf of the Minister of Gender, Children and Social Protection, Head of Department for Gender, Faustina Echampon, called for the prioritization of gender-based programs to close the gender disparity gap.
Any effort that has to do with empowering women and appreciating their contributions to national development is very important to the government and to myself as an individual. Therefore, I must commend the leadership of ECOWAS Gender Development Center for their continuous commitment to appreciate the importance of women and girls in diverse ways of the economy and taking concrete measures to complement the government efforts of member states towards this important goal.
Director of Regional Services Center at UNDP said the ECOGO platform is a timely and crucial endeavor.
The creation and the launch of the ECOWAS Gender Observatory represent a crucial and timely endeavor. This bold initiative will empower the region to boldly confront obstacles and rigorously monitor member states' compliance and commitment on gender equality and women's empowerment. This initiative strongly aligns with our gender equality strategy as UNDP and our renewed strategic offer for Africa. We are excited to be building upon our strong partnership and collaboration with ECOWAS, and we confirm our commitment to continue with our joint efforts to advance this regional and national initiative aimed at promoting gender equality and empowering women in the region.
The ECOGO marks a significant step in tackling gender inequality in West Africa.
Now, new data from the University of Chicago shows that the average person is losing nearly 2 years of life due to air pollution. Fine particle matter in the air is shortening lifespans across the globe, making air pollution one of the most serious threats to human health. As the world marks International Day of Clean Air for Blue Skies, stakeholders are calling on governments to take action against the growing threat. Beat reporter Michael Ashali has more in the following report.
Air pollution, the invisible killer claiming lives across the globe, is now the second leading cause of premature deaths worldwide. In Ghana, it is responsible for 28,000 deaths every year, according to the World Health Organization. And across the world, it kills over 8 million people annually. Alarming figures from a UNICEF-backed report reveal that 1 child dies every minute due to the lethal effects of air pollution. Factories, waste burning, and most notably, the aging fleet of trotros remain the biggest contributors to this deadly menace. Tiny particles emitted from these sources penetrate deep into the lungs and can even enter the bloodstream, posing long-term health risk. New research from the Energy Policy Institute at the University of Chicago shows that the average person is losing nearly 2 years of life due to air pollution. Krista Hazenkopf is the director of the Clean Air Program at EPIC.
Globally, it does cause more deaths each year than HIV, AIDS, and malaria combined. And I'd also say from our study, if you look at West and Central Africa as a whole, we find that in some regions, particulate pollution is cutting life expectancy by as much as 5.1 years. And again, that's much higher than in the region HIV, AIDS, malaria, unsafe water, sanitation, and hand washing are causing.
Through projects like the Ghana Urban Air Quality and Electoral, a network of air sensors has been deployed to monitor pollution levels across the city. These sensors have already identified 8 hotspots where pollution levels are most severe. Kelvin Yeboah is the project coordinator for Ghana AQ and Electoral.
We've been able to set up a monitoring network. So now we have about 60 plus of low-cost air quality sensors in Accra. We are trying to bridge the data gap. And it will amaze you that we have a year's data, and then we've been able to identify about 8 air pollution hotspots in Accra.
In Accra alone?
Including Aboboshi Market, Nima Market, Madina Zongo Junction, La Paz, Choco.
Country lead of Clean Air Fund, Desmond Appiah, says it is time to pay critical attention to the menace.
We have to get to the point where we, the citizens, are demanding that it is not just nice to have a standard, but that it should be enforced to the point that the regulators have no option but to ensure laws are strong and biting.
As the world marks International Day of Clean Air for Blue Skies, the message is clear. Our fight against air pollution is just beginning, and the stakes have never been higher. With open access data on air quality, we may stand a chance to win the fight. For Joy News, Michael Ashali.
And let's take you live to Cape Coast, where Fetu Afache is happening. And Otumfo Setutu II is the guest of honor. Let's take you there now.
Very soon we'll have Otumfo also coming in. And now Dr. Osaberima Kwesi Atta II will also be coming in. And then we can progress with the event. So stay with us. There's going to be a lot to talk about. Yes, a lot to talk about today. Tradition, culture, display, costume, as you can see what I'm wearing right now. You see a lot of that over here, you know.
Nana Otafrija KMJ the first. Now Bani says so there and I mean now media for him account brands. Onusuna Ejina Mensanifa so na me amijina de oba penny Sandra and Ejina has say no. Now Yambo security for so Ghana Police Services. Yambo Mabasopa, security are very tight. Omo baby, there's a visibility no, omo dia draw fashion no ase. The Ghana Police Services, Yabo Mabaso, as I said, security no. Because you see, no more can say amamre mu no. First time I was 2-4-2 about a year central has say a pashe. No more can be bisa.
Okay, Maka say near Tosumienu any. A Brian de Osabarema Dr. Kwesiata Otosumienu Esisono. Otumfo baha but enu achi no Osabarema abon ho modi ansen ko beto safro otumfo ma naba afahye mu abesan because omuntem eye pa omo ye ayonkofo but otumfo dwumadi ahodo no nti onya abre ema mepie mu ewo fetu afahye ase enti planning committee ya madam Charlotte say eda no wo mo kokuma ase ekokoto nsa efre otumfo no wo mani ma no otumfo agitum say I think it's long overdue say obeba Cape Coast no the odo abebo odom enti the second time otumfo oba hani ahade no ene no this time around sonko because the 60th anniversary of Afashe Abeshia and then the 25th anniversary of Onuani Nia Asabarema and so Ababeshia enti sonko kra KMG.
Yeah, and for me I think that the youth of this place have actually contributed a lot to making this a success. When you go
Keep you posted on this particular festival in a subsequent bulletin. This has been the Join This Room with me, Carlos Caloni. Log on to myjoyonline.com for more stories.